Before we jump into this new episode, I would just like to give out a very special mention. You guys, if you haven't seen it yet, things have been a bit bad for me, and because of that, my schedule has been all over the place. I haven't had any time at all to do any of my videos. I've been working a lot within the day, and I've been really tired at night. And I got some suggestions some time ago about asking for donations, something I wasn't sure about at first, but I did put it up in my recent video, my PayPal, and three of you guys already have made a donation. I just want to thank each and every one of you. So I want to thank Kage Judge, Jones Jr., and Carlson Frederick. You guys are truly amazing, and I just want to thank you once again. And if anyone else out there want to donate, I'll be placing my link down in the description for my PayPal. If it's too much of a hassle, you don't even have to bother to look at it. Just go ahead and enjoy the video. But if you want to, don't bother even stressing yourself out, even $1. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys once again, and those who will be coming to donate as well, because this is really going to mean a lot, so that I can focus more on my what ifs and start to give you more than just one a day. Because I don't really like just doing one, because it makes things a lot longer. So yeah, I'm very grateful for all of you for your help and your support. And also, three of you can go ahead and text me on PayPal, because there's an option for that. And go ahead and give me your ideas, because I don't believe I've gotten any from you guys. So go ahead and give me your what if ideas, and they will be up there at the top of the schedule. So the PayPal link will be in the description. Thank you all once again. So yeah, let us jump into this brand new episode, shall we? Hey, what's up guys? And if you haven't seen it yet, I post an update in the community tab, which explains a lot, guys. So go ahead and check out that. So I'm back with part 2 of What If Naruto Had All Ōtsutsuki DNA, guys. If you want to see next part, you already know what to do. Just go ahead and obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I indeed have 3 more channels which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out and enjoy. I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Evil Kryptonian, so go ahead and check out that as well, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, don't forget to turn on the bell notification to see when I post, because I do post a hell of a lot. So without further ado or wasting any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode? Let's begin now, guys. So the last part we left off, we went into the history behind the Ōtsutsuki clan, a clan of powerful beings that went around the universe, consuming planets after planets. The special fruits from certain planets are brought back for experiments and for the elders' consumptions. The elders are 5 members that stood at the hierarchy of the Ōtsutskis. They, as all Ōtsutskis, believed in the legend of Shibai Ōtsutsuki. However, after years upon years upon years, thousands of years of consuming other worlds' chakra and power, they've mutated to unreasonable looks. Yes, most of them were horrendously hideous, as all of them serve a purpose. The seer, the leader, the executioner, They had several purposes. They were the only ones that reside on the Ōtsutsuki planet, while the others were sent out to retrieve more fruits, so they can use it to up their power. All of them were trying to do one thing. They were trying to become what is the best. To pass the normal expectations to become beyond what they were now, even as they were described as gods. They wanted to surpass that. They wanted to shatter their ceiling and become something better, something above. So with that, they went about it many ways, and this was one of them. However they failed, they were trying to bring forward something that would stand tall as a leadership of their clan, stand tall as something that can help them transition to a new level. They were trying to build another Shibai Ōtsutsuki. However they failed, as they cast the experiment into the vast, known universe, believing that it would not survive. Due to the unstable chakra, they did not want to tamper with that anymore, so they cast it away, unaware that they were starting something rather crazy. That thing went for thousands of years until it landed on a planet known as the Elemental Nation, right in the center of the Third Great Shinobi War, where a young man known as Obito Uchiha was taking his final breath. The person landed as he had white hair, he had blue eyes, and 3 markings on both of his cheeks, but those markings are actually the mechanism of how they tweak and manipulate his DNA over the past. After all, they infused him with all the DNA of the other Ōtsutskis, but they dubbed him to be a failure. After seeing a few things, he continued to make his way on, as he came across Kakashi Hatake and Ren Nohara. They were confused as they saw the young boy. However, he was attacked by the enemy, dubbed that he was wearing the clothing of a stone ninja that he found. They attacked him and he proceeded to slaughter them all by creating a massive site of sorts from another Ōtsutsuki known as Kinshiki that obliterated a lot of them. The rest fled away. That is when Minato arrived, saddened to see the death of his student, but curious about this young boy, using Naruto's arrival to try and, well, keep the pain away. After reading the book that was given to him, he started to go by the name Naruto because he was just saying it over and over. So they decided to call him that for the time being. They brought him back to the village and everything was told to Hiruzen. Something was very abnormal about this boy, and they all could see that with their own eyes. They were curious about exactly what was going on, but they couldn't quite figure it out. The Ōtsutskis were wrong, due to them lacking the emotional understanding of other beings, because they were cold-hearted, wicked individuals that only seek their ultimate perfection. They fused Naruto with so much emotions, so much different planets, so much different beings throughout the universe. All of that was fueled inside of him through the countless manipulation of his DNA. So they had no idea how he worked. So what they believed was a failure was actually just him truly coming to light, and now a small glimpse of his power was shown when he obliterated those stone ninjas, and that was not even nowhere near his peak, not anywhere close. Wanting to understand what was happening to him and why he couldn't properly speak, they brought him to the head member of the Yamanaka clan. Hiruzen Sarutobi saw to it though, as they found something about the boy rather interesting. It's the way he learned, the way he adapted to certain situation, easily trying to understand. By the time they were finished with him after a couple of hours, he was talking like a child, understanding and knowing things. So yeah guys, basically let's play if you guys can switch across the play check for yourself, and also don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. I'll be leaving a link down in the description, so yeah, go ahead, check them out and enjoy. So without further ado or wasting more time, let us begin this now guys. Minato Namikaze, or otherwise known as the Yellow Flash, had truly made a name for himself, erasing over a thousand shinobis from the Hidden Stone. He eviscerated them. They believed they stood a chance, but they did not. Upon doing that, Oniki realized that their people were severely outgunned. Even if he had the quantity, he needed the quality, and he doesn't seem to have that at the moment. He decided to sign the ceasefire, knowing that any more of his men that were sent behind the line would simply fall. And that was very giving. His people were having a extremely rough time. Yes, a very rough time. So it's about time that they put this countless slaughter to an end. They weren't winning against Konoha. Everything was looking great. The third great shinobi war that has claimed so many lives seemed to be coming to an end. Boom! An explosion within the vicinity of Konoha set everyone on edge. The shinobis, the civilians, the Hokage, everyone was ready. The explosion was within the village. Not within the building areas, but within one of the many great forests. Anvus, shinobis, racing towards the scene as fast as they possibly could. A young man known as My Guy was on the ground as he was coughing, trying his best to regain his sight and his hearing as well. As things started to form back into place, Guy's eyes widened in shock, unable to believe what he was looking at. There was a gaping section within the forest where there was nothing, no trees, no bushes. In the center of this massive explosion was Naruto, the boy that named himself after the main MC in Jiraiya's book. His right arm was currently missing due to the explosion that he caused. Guy picked himself up, racing towards the scene, coming to an abrupt stop. You have suffered significant damage. We must get you to the hospital. Naruto turned to face Guy. No, I'm fine. Your arm, it's gone, said Guy, confused by the reaction that Naruto was showing. Isn't it painful? Ah, yes, it is. But not enough for me to shout or scream. That is when the Anvus landed, and several ninjas as well, confused by what had caused this. Naruto held his stump out, went slowly, all of them watching in shock. Chakra started to form from the stump, twisting and turning. That is when they saw it. The nerves, the muscles, the bones coming together. They watched in amazement as Naruto regrew his arm. Guy grabbed onto said arm once it was done. How did you do that? Guy making sure that this wasn't some sort of illusion or some trickery. However, it was indeed real. Stepping through the crowd was Minato Namikaze. Naruto, he said. Naruto gazed towards the man as he pulled his hand away from Guy. I must go now, he said. Guy was left there rather confused. How in the world was he able to do that? Was he some kind of super medic ninja or something? While he has known Naruto for some time now, he doesn't really know Naruto. The others were dismissed as Minato took Naruto, and they headed towards the office, where they were greeted by Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hiruzen sighed. Naruto has been here for a couple of months now. In a short amount of time, Naruto was able to adapt to their way of understanding. At first, he was like a newborn child, not knowing how to properly speak, not knowing how to properly conduct himself. Even now, he still has some normalizing of social conversations missing, due to him not seeming to adapt to certain things like sarcasm or jokes sometimes. However, after doing a thorough scan, a thorough background scan to try to find anything, they came up empty. They found the location where Naruto arrived, And they were stumped even more. They found what seemed to be a giant egg. Naruto had pointed towards it and told them that he came out of it. His memories about the past was rather foggy, things that he doesn't know. The last thing that he truly remembered was the bear that he'd taken down. Minato and the others were curious, greatly so, wondering if Naruto wasn't from this world. As crazy as that sound, there was so much evidence showing something like that. Then again, he did have human features. Yes, he had human features. After a very thorough scan at the hospital, there were certain parts of Naruto anatomy that they genuinely did not understand, and it freaked them out. Hiruzen had classified this as S-rank secret, keeping Naruto origins a secret until they were able to figure out more about him, but the more time passed, the more confused they got. Those marks on his cheeks that were like whiskers, it seemed to tap into something that was embedded into his system. Placing certain pressures on them or infusing them with their chakra could lead to different results in Naruto, leading to him acting differently, saying things that they did not understand. It seems like he was saying coordinates, but coordinates to where they had no idea. Hiruzen had to make sure that Naruto was kept specially safe. Naruto wasn't like them. They had to teach him wrong from right. Even now, completely eviscerating a forest area, Naruto did not see a problem despite doing something so traumatic that would make it seem like a war had once again breached their land, despite just coming off of one. That was the kind of things that he was lacking at the moment. However, he adapted really quickly, as you can see. He made friends with some of the children that were his age. They might be a year or two older than him, but Naruto adapted information from the things that he read, and he used that to make friends really quickly. One major thing though, Naruto had a very hard time staying in one place. And somehow, he's been able to slip by those that are there watching him. Somehow he was doing this without anyone actually knowing how exactly he was doing it. And that was one of the things that he was not telling them, because they wanted to keep him captivated inside. However, Hiruzen was trying to show a more leaner side, that Naruto wasn't a prisoner. What exactly were you doing? Hiruzen asked. I believe the proper word was one-upping my guy. Why? Hiruzen said. He bested me in hand-to-hand combat. His skills are better than mine. However, he is really lacking when it comes to the necessity of ninjutsu. And I wanted to one-up him, said Naruto. So I combined the two elements that would lead to the explosion release. What? Said Minato. You were the one that told me about that, said Naruto. The ninja that hailed from the hidden stone. When I asked you about him within the bingo book, why he was so dangerous, I was able to conduct my small experiments to find out. It's a mixture of lightning and earth, and combining the two at the right level, with enough force pressed down, would result in the explosion release. However, it seems I overdid it a bit and lost my arm, said Naruto. However, given the looks on my guy's face, I would say that I'm very successful in that department. He casually speaks about things that most people can't even do, as it wasn't easy for a ninja to perform an element like that. In fact, without a Kikigenkai, it should be downright impossible, and yet they couldn't understand it. Naruto did not have chakra, and at the same time he did. If he was simply standing there, you would believe that he was a civilian. But when it came to exercising his abilities now, he was able to tap in this reservoir that seemed to be nowhere to be found when he was calm. Minato and Jiraiya and Hiruzen had tried their best to locate where this reservoir of chakra was, but they found themselves very unsuccessful. And they had no idea how he was doing this. Another leading theory in making them believe that Naruto wasn't exactly from this planet. It sounds really crazy, but there was so much backing evidence that just did not make much sense. Time skip. Might Guy, along with several others, found themselves within one of the many training grounds with Konoha. With the war settling up to an end, there was many things that were going on the outside, and right now, the younger generation was on standby for the time being. There was a lot of hectic remains for the older generation to deal with, and having their younger generation lose their life was not what was set for the future after all. The kids were the future. Guy, wanting his strength to be as refined as ever, was constantly looking for training partners. However, Asuma Saratobi, the son of Hiruzen, rolled his eyes as Guy once again asked to challenge him. Kakashi was not here. Ren Nohara was not here as well. They had lost one of their teammates a few months back. Kakashi had really taken this to heart. The last dying wish of Obito Uchiha was to give Kakashi Sharingan, which he currently has at his disposal. Due to Kakashi being a genin before them, there were certain missions that he partake in that the others were not going to be a part of. So Guy wanted to keep his skills fresh as usual, but he was being ignored. Kurenai Ui though nudged Asuma in the shoulder. "Come on, go ahead. At least spar with him a bit," she said, feeling bad for Guy, as he was really insistent for a long time now. They were not the only one there as well. There was another one known as Aoba, and another one known as Genma. Genma turned his gaze when he saw someone arrive. It was none other than Naruto. "So that's him," Aoba said. "Yeah." As Guy waved Naruto over, "I'm telling you, he regrew his arm right in front of me." Kurenai looked towards him with a skeptical gaze. "You don't believe me? Ask him." "Hey Naruto," he said as Naruto got closer. He threw an arm around Naruto's shoulder. "I'm sure that most of you already know who he is. Tell them that you regrew your arm in front of me." Guy said. "Yes, I did," said Naruto. Kurenai stepped up towards Naruto. "You don't have much when it comes to personality-wise, do you?" she said. Naruto gazed at her. She stepped back a bit because he was just looking at her. "I like your red eyes," he said, as he put on a smile on his face, showing that he means no harm. He adapted really quickly to things. It caused Kurenai to blush slightly. It also angered someone, Asuma Saratobi, who might have had a bit of crush on her. Naruto then turned to face Guy. "I wish to challenge you once again." Guy was smirking. "Are you sure that is wise? It wasn't long ago that we fought, and you lost." "Yes, I've learned from my mistakes." Guy was all smiles hearing that as they made their way. "Guy is gonna crush him," Asuma said, looking forward to seeing Naruto defeat. "You're not even sure how strong he is. How do you know that?" He turned his gaze towards Kurenai. "Well, you're not sure how strong he is either, so how do we not know that he's gonna get crushed?" "Let's just watch and see," said Genma, as both boys found themselves in the center of the field. "Are you ready?" Naruto Guy asked. "Yes, go ahead." Guy sped forward with a spinning kick. Naruto blocked it. "It seems you have learned, but let's see you keep up with this." Guy dropped both of his hands and twirled, before lashing out with 3 brutal kicks at Naruto, but Naruto diffused all of them by cancelling them out. Guy flipped away as Naruto blitzed towards him. The others were shocked, but Guy was ready, swinging his fist against Naruto as their fists collided. Guy vanished away, pushing off with a terrible amount of speed. He appeared behind Naruto with his leg raised. However, Naruto raised his hand and caught Guy's leg and spun with such force. Naruto's body started to become a blur before he released Guy. He did not stop there though, as he appeared above him and slammed his elbow in Guy's guts. Guy slammed his right hand on the ground though and delivered a kick to Naruto's chin, snapping his gaze to the sky. Guy flipped as he twisted and jumped over Naruto and brought his leg down, only for Naruto to weave out of the way. He then stabbed his fingers right into Guy's shoulder blade before pulling back. He then used the side of his hand and chopped Guy in the side. Guy fumbled as Naruto elbowed him in the face. He staggered as Naruto grabbed his arm and pulled him back. He lifted him by the throat. He slammed Guy into the ground and raised his leg. "Hey, stop!" Naruto paused as his feet was inches away from, stomping on Guy's skull. It was Kurenai that put a stop to it as the others were running beside her. "He's down, stop it," Kurenai said. Naruto looked down towards Guy, who was bleeding, seemingly in a lot of pain. Naruto tilted his head as he helped him to his feet. "What were you thinking? It was supposed to be a friendly spar," Kurenai said. Naruto stepped up towards Guy. "My apologies. It seems I overestimated your strength." Naruto held his hand out and placed it on Guy's chest. "What are you doing?" Aoba said. "I'm trying something." "Trying what?" Asuma said. "He's already hurt enough." "I'm not trying to harm him but help him." Guy's eyes shot open as he jumped to his feet. What did you do?" he said, no longer feeling any pain. "I had a theory. If I could speed up your healing process, there was a good chance that I might override your system and kill you, but it worked." Wait. Are you saying that you just put his life on the line to heal him?" Kurenai asked Naruto like he was insane. "Yes, you seem upset." "Of course I am. You can't just do that to someone. What if it hadn't worked?" "Well, then he would have been dead. And that is really bad. Because he's a person of this village. And a good person as well." "I must apologize once more," said Naruto. "I wasn't thinking properly." "Oh, it's alright," said Guy. "I seem to be doing much better now. Don't just forgive him like that," Kurenai said. "He did something really idiotic without thinking first. You could have died." But Naruto did not mean it. "He's a bit weird, but Naruto is a good person, aren't you?" Guy said. "I suppose I am." Kurenai gazed towards Naruto, with a bit of unsure in her eyes. Time skip. Minato felt a bit responsible for Naruto. It might be strange given that they weren't that far apart in age, but given that he was there and he decided to bring Naruto back, despite it being very hard to trust people in this day and age, with a war taking place. So yes, Minato felt like it was his responsibility. That is why Naruto seemed more fitted to receive the help that he was needed, to venture out, to help, because he had the ability to do so. He just needed to learn to control himself. Minato was flashing all around Naruto, using his Hiraishin to move so fast. He was moving all around Naruto, trying to see and test Naruto's reaction time. He blitzed behind Naruto and tapped him on the shoulder. He vanished once again and he kept up the same thing, trying to see if Naruto would catch on to his speed. Judging by all the signs that Naruto had shown recently, he had the potential to be greater than anyone could ever imagine. Minato paused as Naruto's gaze snapped towards him when his hand was inches away. Minato stopped. "You were able to react to my flashes," he said. That is when he saw Naruto's eyes. That crystal blue eyes of his was different. The center seemed clear, almost like the Byakugan. "What are you seeing now?" he asked. "Your pattern," said Naruto. I can see it all over the place. Wait. You can see the pattern of footsteps that I take, Minato said. Yes. I was able to calculate the amount of time that you move from one spot to another. All I needed to do was to find out exactly where you would move next. It seems that has somehow triggered a reaction in my eyes. I can see you, said Naruto. Minato was very intrigued by this. Being a man of science himself, especially when it came to Fuinjutsu, he was trying to understand just what exactly was Naruto. When they were both alerted by a beautiful redhead, as she brought them lunch, Naruto smiled when he saw her. He liked her hair color very much. This was also a trigger due to Kurenai eyes, which he liked as well. Minato smiled when he saw Kushina as she made her way towards them. I figured that you guys might need some lunch. Naruto felt hungry, but he could do without it. Perhaps that was just a part of his design, because he did not really need to eat. Then again, he did have DNA of all sorts of things inside of him. Naruto took the sandwich with thank you. So polite, Kushina said, with a happy smile, as Naruto kept on gazing at the two as they talked. Kushina had to make her way as she said goodbye. Do you love her? Said Naruto. Minato paused. Not many people knew about the relationship between him and Kushina, as it wasn't exactly all over the place. But Naruto had seen on more than one occasion, so he figured that he put two and two together. Yes, Minato said. I do love her. What exactly is love? Naruto asked. I saw it when I was reading a book. The MC fall in love with the chambermaid. Why would someone develop these feelings? It's hard to describe, said Minato. It's when you see someone and you know it. When you feel that feeling in your stomach. Butterflies. A feeling of overwhelming joy and happiness. It's a really hard feeling to describe, but I'm sure that you will feel it one day when you find someone that you come to love, Minato said. Perhaps you're right, Naruto said, as he picked himself up. But what if I don't have that feeling? What do you mean? We both know that I'm not exactly like you or anyone else on this planet. I'm not sure what I am, but there are some foggy memories in my mind, and I've seen things that are not here on this planet. And I know things that I don't understand. Even these marks on my cheeks, said Naruto as he ran his finger down them. I can feel a strange aura emanating from these. A feeling that I can't quite describe at all. I know that I'm not normal. What if I can't feel that same feeling? Minato stepped towards Naruto. Love is different from most things, he said. Most things are complicated, so is love. And I don't think it is because of what you are that will make you eventually fall for someone. I think it is what you will eventually feel. Naruto simply nodded towards the man. Not quite getting it, but he understood the words, and he supposed that was enough. Time skip. As more time passed, Naruto was dubbed the title of a genin, having the skills and strength to back himself up when it came to the tests, which was something easy to pass in his opinion. Thus, as the younger generation were starting to move out, lending support, participating in missions, the hidden stone might have been put down, but it was the entire world that was warring in the Third Great Shinobi War. Humo, the sand, Kiri, everything. And one of these incidents led to something rather tragic. Kakashi wasn't a fan of Naruto. Not at all. He did not trust Naruto from day one. Perhaps it was because Naruto arrived the same day when Obito was killed. And now, Minato was put in time to train Naruto. Kakashi believing that he was trying to replace Obito. There was a whole bunch of things. The copy ninja was just not that much a fan of Naruto. His title started to grow as he was copying many ninjutsu with the Sharingan that was gifted to him. Naruto was sent along with a few others on several missions, each of these missions being rather successful. Having yet to come across the enemy to fend off against them, things were going smoothly and calm. Kakashi Hatake had broken the rules by leaving the team that was supposed to go back. They looked towards Naruto as 5 of them were there. Kakashi had went back within the heart of the enemy because one of their own was captured. When Naruto heard who it was, he left. There was nothing that they could say to stop him. And at the moment they could not physically stop him, none of them were strong enough. They weren't your special ninjas after all. Naruto made his way, only to arrive to see Kakashi, as he was carrying the unconscious Ren Nohara, finally coming to a stop, taking many deep breaths. The copy ninja has been through a lot. Ren got captured and he saved her life. Only for someone to jump down, Kakashi immediately was ready to fight. However, it wasn't the enemy. What are you doing here? He said, looking towards Naruto. I was told what happened, and I came to help. Kakashi looked towards him, at least thankful for that. We need to get her back to the village. Rin started to slowly wake up. When she saw Kakashi, her gaze grew concerned. No, she said. She seemed upset about something. You're alright. You have to kill me, she said. What? Have you lost your mind? Said Kakashi, looking at her rather concerned. As Naruto was standing there listening to the conversation. We have to go, he suddenly said. Yes, we have to, said Kakashi. We have to go back to the village. No, you don't understand. That is when she showed him. Kakashi saw the seal on her stomach. They sealed the 3 tails inside of me. As there was another seal over it, the forbidden individual curse tag, which will program the tailed beast to wreak havoc the moment it reached within the vicinity of Konoha, which will kill her anyways. And she wanted to protect her village. However, Kakashi refused. He refused. After all, it was what Obito had said. However, it was too late as they were surrounded by Kiri ninjas. Kakashi wasted no time as he attacked them vigorously, fending off against them. Naruto stepped forward. Wait, Rin said, grabbing his hand. I can't go back. If I do, I will hurt the village and I don't want to do that. And this beast is going to kill me anyways, the moment I reach close enough. Kakashi has been my teammate for a long time now, and given what we've been through with Obito, I can understand why he doesn't want to do this. But you have to kill me, she said. You want me to end your life, because that will prevent the death of many within Konoha. Are you sure about this? Naruto had no qualms killing her. After all, he saw the reason why she wanted to die, and he had absolutely no problem with that. Ren nodded her head. Kakashi, enthralled with the Kira Shinobis, realized that Naruto was still there with her. He had thought that she would have put up a fuss as Naruto had grabbed her and tried to run off. He thought that is what Naruto was trying to do, but his mind then went to a strange place. Given the kind of person that Naruto was, he snapped his gaze. No! Don't you dare! He shouted towards Naruto. However, it was too late. A single spark, an ignite spark. Naruto blew a gaping hole right through her chest, crushing her heart in an instant. A painless and quick death. She died without even realizing. The only thing that she saw in her final moments was the gaze of Kakashi Hatake. Unknowingly to them, someone landed in the far distance. The person I was also affected by what happened. Both Kakashi and this person, eyes changed in that moment. The standard Sharingan evolved into something much more powerful. However, Kakashi was tired from saving her and facing off against the shinobis. Kakashi, sudden awakened eye, took a lot out of him as he fell down. It took him out cold. Naruto stood there rather calm. He stepped to Kakashi to bring his body back to the village. And Ren as well, given that she was dead. The power inside of her should disappear. The seal was now inactive. Naruto did not feel anything. That was a strange part. That was the most messed up part. Given that him and Ren weren't that close, she was still a part of the village. She was still a person that he spoke into more than a couple of times. However, she died because she wanted to. He simply allowed her to die like that. Because she wanted to save people that she cared about at the village. His actions might seem bad, but in his eyes, he did nothing wrong. Naruto then felt it. So did all the Kirin ninjas. They all felt it. As someone erupted. The Kirin ninjas saw the person. They tried to take him down, but their weapons simply passed through him. One of them shouted to retrieve the corpse, given that Isobu was just sealed inside of it. But the person took off and proceeded to massacre all of them at the front. The ones at the back started to step back in fear as the bloodlust got even worse. Naruto tilted his head, not an ounce of fear, as two Kirin ninjas raced towards him to try and retrieve the corpse. However, Naruto held out his hand and, with a snap of his finger, the combustion of earth and lightning, their bodies were sent sailing away. He stood there as someone burst out of the smoke. What seemed to be a tree root aimed to his throat to end his life. Naruto caught it and pulled the person forward, but his hand went straight through the individual, who kicked him in the back as his head slammed into the ground. The person raised his heel as Naruto caught it and pushed him off. Naruto stepped forward and pressed with an obscene amount of force. The ground cracked. He swung his fist to decapitate the individual, but his fist passed through. The person stabbed him. The root within Naruto's stomach expanded and multiple branches ripped through Naruto. The person ripped it out as Naruto collapsed down to the ground. As they stepped towards Ren Nohara, the person gazed down towards the cold, lifeless corpse of Ren, when suddenly, BAM! Naruto's feet crushed into the side of his head. The white substance that surrounded the individual shattered like glass. Their body was thrown as it bounced, smashing across the ground with a terrible force. Naruto sped forward. All of the vines were being plucked out of his body, like they were some kind of virus and his body was purifying it. Naruto raised his leg and dropped it. The ground exploded outwards with a terrible blast, throwing back the unconscious Copy Ninja and dead Ren Nohara. However, the person had slipped through. They passed through Naruto. As they were behind him, they stabbed him in the back, this time aiming where his heart was. However, Naruto spun, turning, snapping the root before it could completely pierce through him. He reached and gripped the person's throat. This technique of theirs was new, and they could not maintain it, especially for too long. Now having their throat in his hand, Naruto pulled his other arm back, about to blow their head off with a blast. However, green roots exploded from that side and ripped into Naruto's arm. stopping him. The person then hit Naruto so hard. As his body crashed down, they landed on top of him. They started to drive their fists into his face, trying to make sure that he was dead. The final Kirin ninja that was there was watching with a look of fear and shock, unable to believe what he was witnessing, as a person was constantly beating their fists within Naruto's face. Throughout this whole battle, Naruto was never once angry. He wasn't angry, he wasn't upset, he was simply fighting the enemy. However, the constant, repeated hits started to hurt, which triggered something within his DNA. The ninja was sent through the foliage. The ground in front of Naruto and the sky itself quivered, as a gravitational force unlike any other shook the entire place. The one that was there within the center to receive it, well, he was launched violently across the forest, crashing down, falling off what seemed to be a steep, long drop as he smashed through solid stone. He smashed through another and another. Naruto created a literal trench with his rage. Naruto picked himself up. His right eye was destroyed. His jaw was shattered. His face was leaking, his lip was ripped off. His head was cracked open by the repeated punch that was raining down on him by the enhanced individual due to the physiology that surrounded their body. Naruto's body slowly started to heal. His eyes started to reconstruct, his lip returning. He snapped his jaw into place as he rolled his mouth around. Naruto made his way after the individual, but not before. He turned to face the Kira Shinobi. Naruto sped towards him as he tried to flee. Naruto slammed his hand into the ground, ripping out a violent root of one of the nearby trees. It seemed to bend to his will. He wrapped it around the shinobi's feet and started to drag him. The man was pleading as he tried to escape. He tried to cut it, but it was reinforced with Naruto chakra. Naruto grabbed him by the head as he held him into the sky. He pressed his other hand on his chest, and with another gravitational force, Naruto crushed his insides. Blood filled his lungs, his ribs crushed. Naruto did not allow him to leave, allowing his body to feel the full force of what was like a mountain dropping on his chest, crushing every semblance of what was inside of his chest. He didn't last too long. Naruto made his way after the one that he sent away. However, when he arrived, there was no one around. Naruto tried to locate him, but the person was gone. Time skip. A man. The man that was supposed to be a myth. The man that was supposed to be a legend. Because he was supposed to be dead by now. Watch. As the ground cracked open, Zetsu was rather concerned. Zetsu was the only thing that was actually controlling the body. What happened? Madara Uchiha, the ghost of the Uchiha clan, questioned. "We have a problem," the white Zetsu said. "It seems that we have a new player in the game, and they're insanely powerful." Obito Uchiha, the one that was thought to be dead, as Zetsu released him down to the ground, without the arm. His body was a mess. He was bleeding, he was unconscious. His bones, several of them were broken. Zetsu was lucky that he wasn't crushed completely as well. He was the one that took Obito away and traveled underground to get him here. Obito was out cold. No chance of waking up anytime soon, as that hit that he received was much more violent than anything that he's ever come across, not even being crushed by so many massive boulders. Time skip. "Yes, I killed her," said Naruto. His lack of concern and his lack of emotional connection was off-putting. I had my reasons. Minato was not pleased by this. Due to the way that Naruto was speaking, she wanted to die because the tail beast inside of her would have destroyed the village. Naruto gave his testimony to what happened. And the more time passed, the more things started to change. Even Minato was acting strange. Naruto supposed that he would be angry, but why would they be angry at him? Naruto was vetted to becoming a shinobi, understanding the rules, understanding what needs to be done. However, yet, they seem to be displeased by his actions. Why would they be displeased? After all, he provided a service for them that would have likely resulted in many of their deaths. And Minato was acting cold towards him now. It wasn't that Naruto did it because there was no reason, but the way he said it, the way he spoke. Minato thought that he was trying to break ground with Naruto, teaching him how to understand human emotions. Perhaps all of that teaching was just a complete waste, because Naruto did not seem to care one bit, and Minato found himself having a hard time overcoming that. Two of his teammates were now dead. Two people that he was put in charge of teaching and protecting was now gone. Things became worse when Naruto visited her gravesite, where Kakashi Hatake reside. "What the hell are you doing here?" said Kakashi. "I'm simply trying to understand what is going on." "What's going on?" "After what you did. After what I did." "You mean after I saved countless people in this village because you were too naive to make a move?" Kakashi snapped his gaze towards Naruto with so much hatred in his eyes. "I never liked you. I never trusted you," he said. "Something could have been done. There could have been another way. We could have found something, but you killed her. You want to know why everything is so different? It's because you don't care. She was supposed to be a friend of yours, and yet you strike her down without hesitation, not even a word." "Do you even feel anything?" Kakashi asks. "No, I do not. Because I did what was necessary, something that you couldn't have done. Get the hell out of here. No one even wants you here. Why are you here? You killed her. Why are you even here?" said Kakashi, truly angered by Naruto's words. He lost both of his teammates. His rage, no bound at the moment. Having a conversation with Kushina Uzumaki resulted with her telling him that Minato was trying his best, but it was difficult. Naruto found himself rethinking everything that took place. They blamed him like it was his fault, like he did something bad, when in actuality, he saved the village. He saved countless lives. It's not his fault that he didn't feel anything, because he did not. Because in his eyes he did the right thing, so why the hell should he feel bad? Naruto was simply not understanding what they were talking about, not feeling what they were feeling, and that was bad for both sides. Naruto hated to feel bad about himself. He did not like this sensation, he did not like this feeling. When people blamed him for things that he was justified in doing, he hated this, he truly hated it. And now, everything here seems so different. People whispering behind his back that he was a teammate killer. For the brief moment that he was on Team 7 with them, it was brief, but still it was for a moment. People saying how ruthless he was, that he was a monster. How reactions of him could change that easily. Naruto found himself not liking it one bit. And why should he be somewhere that he wasn't welcome? The person that he was truly actually bonding with was behaving different towards him. So Naruto packed his things, the things that he have, the necessity of this world, even though he could do without most of them. And on that night, Naruto left, well aware of the schedule and the guards. Naruto was able to leave without anyone actually, knowing that he was leaving the village for good. He didn't want to be here anymore, so he left the village, and he wasn't going to look behind. He made his way, leaving Konoha. It wasn't until his lack of sight around the village that they started to realize that something was wrong. Naruto was a very smart individual. Most of the times he stayed in and read, so most of the times you would not see him, but when it became rather obvious that something was wrong, Hiruzen Sarutobi made his way, given the recent change that has taken place, with Minato having a hard time forgiving Naruto for what happened. In actuality, Naruto actually saved many lives, and Ren knew what she was doing, because Kakashi was there to say that she asked for him to strike her down as well. But it was the way that Naruto went about it afterwards. The lack of care, the lack of concern, despite all that they've been through. With him and Naruto, him teaching Naruto like a younger brother or something. Minato was just hurt. However, the place was empty. When news got back, Kakashi Hatake did not care one bit. If anything, he was happy. Good riddance that he was gone. He did not care for Naruto, and he felt it best for him not to be here anymore. So when they were talking about searching, Kakashi chose to not even focus on that, because in actuality, he did not give one damn about it, and he did not give one damn about Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto was standing over 15 corpses as he gazed down towards them, holding the Kira headband in his hand. Him understanding the location and everything about this world, it was easy for him to find exactly where they're located. Naruto hated to feel bad about himself, and he was upset, and all of this was because of these Kira ninjas. Every single base, every single one of them where the Kira ninjas lie, every one of them where they stood, where they were using their forces to intrigue on Konoha, Naruto was slaughtering them all, getting a better grasp on the powers that were now under his disposal. His gravity manipulation, he could crush bones with a force that he could repel. He could annihilate those that stood in front of him. They might be more experienced, but Naruto had raw, violent power. Naruto eviscerated 15 companies before he left the area, believing that it was his way of showing that he was sorry for what he did. But Rain was still dead, and he did not know, he did not believe that he had the power to bring her back to this world, so there was nothing that he could do about that. So with that, Naruto ventured off to start a new life, with his new knowledge, with his new experience, to become something that he had to become himself. Konoha was trying to find him, but they were unsuccessful, and that was partially, well, mostly their fault. How was the old saying? Teach a man how to fish, and he's kept fed. Shear your fish, and he's fed for that day. However, they taught Naruto how to fish, and with his understanding level, with his knowledge of consuming things, Naruto was very well able to hide where he was going, so they would not find him. Not that he had any interest in returning, given what things were at the moment, as Naruto ventured out, not knowing what he would do. However, the problem was, Naruto was simply too powerful. In these uncertain times, his strength will be the tide of a turn for any village. And Naruto's strength will not be hidden for too long, because while he was safe in Konoha, while he was protected there, he didn't have to fight for survival. This was the end of the Third Great Shinobi War, And the beginning might be soft, but the end of the war was extremely violent because things were coming to an end. It might sound strange, but everyone wanted to clean up what was left. And thus they were using every force to eradicate everything that was left in their path. And a walking nuke was walking around the elemental nation as he was about to be caught up in so much shit. It was going to be crazy. But I'm gonna be ending this episode right here, guys. If you want to see next episode, you already know what to do. Comment down below and obliterate that red subscribe button. And once again, if you want to help, the PayPal link is in the description if you want, guys. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.